What's up, Third Wave Sabotage community and G.I. Joe fans? This is Tim, and today we're talking about the Cobra Ferret. The Cobra Ferret came to us in 1985. It came out in this dark blue version. Later on, you had a mail away light blue version. And then eventually you had the Tiger Claw, which was a Cobra Ferret repurposed for Tiger Force for G.I. Joe. And when you look at Tiger Force, you'll see, oh, these are a lot of Cobra vehicles in here. The idea is that G.I. Joe captured Cobra vehicles and then they repurposed them for good purposes, including the Tiger Claw being sort of the replacement, if you will, or the good guy version of the Cobra Ferret. This one I got within probably the last 2 years. I got a good deal on it because there was one little issue with it, which I'll show to you in a couple minutes here. These run probably 30 or 40 bucks right now at the time of this video if you're going to get them in decent shape. Obviously, if you're going to get anything brand new in the box, you're talking hundreds of dollars for things from way back in 1985. It is cool that the G.I. Joe Classified line did put these out. And I will note, particularly for the Classified line, it seems like people have created a lot of accessories, different tires, different missiles. I actually got a little plow I'll show you on mine. There's also like baskets in the back or cages in the back where you can carry gear. So people have loved the Ferret for years. And so even in the new Classified line, people are making 3D additions that you can add on to your Ferret. All right, so the Ferret is an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle, also known as a four-wheeler, and very popular toy when it first came out because A, it was really cool, B, it was lower cost than some of the higher cost G.I. Joe and Cobra vehicles came out. C, I'm going to say it's because it was featured pretty often in the Sunbow cartoon series. And then lastly, I'm going to say I do think it was a plus that they had Firefly and Storm Shadow on the cover of the box art. Two very popular characters, and so you look at that, you're like, oh, those guys drove it? I definitely want to get one of those as well. Now, G.I. Joe didn't have an equivalent to the Ferret. They did have the Armadillo, which was also out in 1985. We had the Awe Striker out in 1985, which is also bigger than the Ferret, and the bomb disposal device. Again, smaller vehicles that were more affordable than some of the larger vehicles, but until the Tiger Force was created and basically the Ferret was repurposed, you didn't have a direct Joe equivalent to this vehicle. So based on the blueprints, here's what we have. We have two laser-guided, what they're called combat missiles. And we'll talk about those missiles in a little bit. A lot of people are kind of agitated by them because they look like they would launch either neither ways or both way. I'll give you my headcanon on that, and it kind of solves the problem, at least in my own head. But they're called combat missiles, which is interesting. I did learn that at one point this was going to be called the Cobra Bat. So I wonder if they're called combat, COM-BAT missiles, because this was going to originally be called the Cobra Bat. So we have that. We have a 50 caliber dual machine gun on the front, and that one moves when you move the steering wheel, which is definitely a very cool feature. Now, the large side cannon is called a Side Slug Electric CMF-1 10-round launcher. I don't know what that is, but that is a high-power, high-test cannon that's on the side of the Ferret there. As far as the engine, the Ultimate Guide to G.I. Joe says that this is a 16-valve, liquid-cooled, 150 horsepower, 4-cycle Fender engine. Now, I find when you look at it straight on from the front, it is a little weird on the camera, so that's why I'm putting it at an angle here. But let's jump into this thing and talk about some of the details. So we have the tires here, 4 tires, obviously. I'm always hesitant to say they're definitely rubber. I can almost always tell when they're definitely like plastic, but these feel like I would call a rubberized plastic. Definitely has a rubber feel to it, which is cool. As I mentioned with the cannon up top, it's connected to the steering wheel. So you'll see as I move the steering wheel, the cannon moves as well. And you can see the little device under here that allows that to happen. Obviously, this thing is old. It has been around. It's been around for a long time. So you want to be careful as you're finagling that and moving the front two cannon. I think they did a bang up job when it comes to the contrast of colors with the Ferret, right? You have black tires, you have the black seat, you've got a black hose here, you've got a gray frame underneath that I'll flip over and show you in a minute. You also have even black like fenders here on the back, which I think is cool. That was a little addition they added on that I think just adds a lot of, it's just an extra cool feature that they actually considered that. They also have a lot of stickers on this thing, and mine came with a bunch of the stickers that hadn't fallen off, which I was thrilled about. Let's talk about these missiles on the side. Okay, this front missile looks very much like, while it's different, it very much has the vibe of Scrap Iron's missiles from his missile launcher set if you got the figure. For me, when I've thought about these over the years, yes, you look at them and you say, well, where's the propulsion coming out? How does this work? As I thought about it, basically, I imagined that somewhere in here, these things could split. So if you wanted to launch a missile back, this could split. You'd press a button, and this one would launch back. Press a different button, this would launch forward. So essentially, you've got your 50 cal up here, your cannon here, and then 4 missiles. And these missiles are just basically combined into one, and they can shoot both ways as they split apart in the middle. That's what I thought. Maybe you disagree. Totally cool if you do, but that's sort of my headcanon. I'm putting it up on the side here so you can see some more of the details. You do have some pretty nice detail right here where the feet are going to sit for your driver. You can fit multiple characters on this. I would say 2 is your max who are actually sitting on the Ferret. I guess if you wanted to have somebody like sit on the back, you could do that, but they would fall off if you rolled them across the grass or even across your floor in your living room. As we're looking at this angle, I want to note this hose is probably the most easily lost item. And then also the cover here, which covers a little storage section that goes down inside. So make sure that if you're getting a Ferret and it's listed as complete, those are the 2 items that are most obvious that could be missing. I'll open up this section here so you can see down in. Tiny little storage. You can maybe keep a pistol or something in there. And then that's what the top looks like. Looking at the back, you can see the gray exhaust. And if you're looking at it and really paying attention, you can actually see that this side is dipping a little bit. That's because underneath on mine, the frame actually has a crack right here. So I don't really want to bother to glue it. It doesn't make a huge difference, but that can be a weak spot. If you're going to pick up a Ferret, make sure you check the frame so that it isn't falling apart and breaking. This also gives you another angle to see that mechanism up front. So as the wheels move, it moves the turret or the gun up top. So there's a quick look comparing the Armadillo with the Ferret. Obviously different kind of functions overall, but similar in size when it comes to a smaller vehicle, lower cost, and great to get a hold of these to be able to add just more play value to your playtime when you were a kid. Probably a little bit more similar in function, the LCV compared to the Ferret. The LCV is about the same length, a little bit longer, definitely not as wide. And overall, the Ferret is way more popular than the LCV, I would say. People definitely preferred the Ferret. It might have been one of the favorite small vehicles that was out at this time, and maybe even ever for the Cobra line of G.I. Joe. And here we have a quick comparison between the Stinger, which is very dusty. I got to clean that thing off. And the Ferret, you can see that the Stinger is definitely larger. That being said, the Ferret is not, while it's a quote-unquote small vehicle, if you consider the Stinger a medium-sized vehicle, it's not tiny. It's not a really, really small vehicle. Compared to like the Ram, the Stinger is way larger. And I would just say that the Ferret has a bigger presence overall than a lot of the quite small vehicles that G.I. Joe had put out at this point. And last up here, we have the Ram, and you can tell that the Ram is definitely a smaller vehicle. The Ram is also, I guess in motorcycle form, it could be used more as like a off-road bike, but it definitely sort of appears, just like the Mirage does, as a bike that's made for being on harder surfaces, whereas the Ferret can go pretty much anywhere. It can get off-road, into the mud, into the woods really easily. I just did a quick check on eBay for a Ferret that has all the parts, that is complete, even if it's not, pristine. You're looking at about 30 bucks. You're going to go up to probably 50 bucks or a little bit more if you get something that's got all its stickers and has no fading or no issues whatsoever. But again, 30 to 50 bucks plus a little shipping if you're picking it up off of eBay. Here's a look at the new classified for G.I. Joe. It does come with a female driver. Really cool figure there. I just feel like really nicely built. Cool motorcycle helmet that comes with it as well. And it's very true to the original. So you got the guns on the front, you got the blasters on the front, you got the blaster on the side, the big cannon blaster, you got the missiles. And P.S., I'm not saying sorry because like you're offended. Sometimes YouTube gets upset when you use those words and they flag your videos. I don't want that to happen. You do still have some of these kind of interesting features where it's like, okay, which way does this thing go? With these rockets or missiles, they are the same on both the front and the back as opposed to looking different. It does have a winch on the front, which is cool as well. This guy does move. It's not directly connected to the handlebars anymore. We do have a little sort of cage on the back where you can attach gear. And then let me spin this and show you the front. That is the plow that I purchased. It's 3D printed with the cool Cobra logo. I got it on Etsy. It was probably about 10 bucks. And I just thought it added a lot to the Ferret. So yeah, I just think that's a nice little addition to it. Maybe you have one with and one without if you go that direction. But like I said, there are a variety of add-ons that you can get. Red Atlas Creations does a great job with tires. I'll show you some of theirs. Gridiron offers tires as well. And then you've got some other options like the plow, like I said, baskets in the back. Red Atlas Creation also offers different missiles that you can put on this as well. Here's a look at the two of them side by side. Obviously your 6-inch figure scale and then your 3 3/4-inch figure scale. The classified's very true to the original. Even the sticker, you have the ATV sticker here, ATV sticker there. And then the one thing I do like about these tires, I think these are a little bit more aggressive looking than these ones, and that's why people often swap these out and put new tires on instead. But both still really good looking vehicles for Cobra. So I've got my G.I. Joe vehicles and action figures right here in front of me on some shelves. And I would say, looking particularly at the Cobra side, the Ferret is in my top 5 pretty easily, and maybe in my top 3 vehicles of all time when it comes to what Hasbro put out for Cobra vehicles, and particularly this one. I just love the fact that it's just got so much diversity in its use, and going back in the day that it was inexpensive, so a lot of kids could get their hands on this and have a lot of fun with the Cobra Ferret. Let me hear from you. Where's the Cobra Ferret in your headcanon? What do you like about it? What would you change? Do you have particular memories about it? Feel free to leave those stories in the comments. I'd love to hear about people's experiences growing up and how these different figures played in their headcanon of G.I. Joe and Cobra battles. So thanks for checking out Third Wave Sabotage. More videos coming soon. Take care.